thank you so much. I'm really happy to see you today, and we are going to do a tour of my van. And I love my van, and I am very happy to share it with you. So I'm going to stop now, and we'll start at the front of the van so we can start there. And on this very stormy week here in Southern California, we have a break today where it's sunny, a bit breezy, but the storm's coming back in. There was just like a pause for a day, and I was able to come out and do this. Thank you. Hi, today we're doing a tour of my van. It's a Winnebago Solis National Park Foundation version. It's a 2023 on a 2022 chassis. I love it. It's just the best ever. One interesting thing to note is in the storage that I am right now, my van is currently in storage. We are parked next to an A-liner, and actually that was a version of that. Mine was a little bit bigger. I had an A-liner prior to the van. I'll probably do a video on my evolution of camping some other time, but I just thought it was a funny thing to point out before we get going on a tour. So now those are the window shades that are on the inside of the windows. They're kind of thermal. They're special ones that come with the National Park Edition. They're a little bit thicker. I think the ones that come with the Solis are a little bit different, but they work very well. I also have a white one that goes across the outside if it's hot, because it helps keep the inside cooler. Really works amazing. You have your glove box. I usually keep just random travel stuff while I'm traveling. I try and charge. Anytime I'm driving, you'd want to charge. There is even a little tiny storage up there, and just your normal seats. The seats are okay. They do swivel around, so you can turn them around to be able to, seat people facing each other. And then each of the doors has this drink holder, which is kind of low, which is why I use a Stanley, because it fits in here tall enough that I can grab it when I'm driving. So obviously it would be on the other door. And then I just keep random bug spray, sunscreen, first aid kit in there. And then here is the refrigerator, and bonus, Harvey's purse, sunflowers. Yes, one female thing I do. I love my purses. They all come with a fire extinguisher. Obviously you'd want to change that out every now and then as it gets old. I went camping at, I think it was Carpinteria State Beach, and randomly, that is my name. My name is Leah, and there was a rock at the campsite that had my name on it, and I took it. I felt it was meant to be. But I'm Leah, by the way. And then here's the extra seats. It seats 4 with seat belts. So there's seat belts here. And I talk about the pad here later. I actually did the end first. And then here's a table. This pattern right here is the National Park Foundation pattern. These lift up. And as I said in my other video, this is where the water, you can see underneath that little container, there's the Truma, which is the water heater, and the heater for the van, along with all the connections to undo the empty out all the water. So we have this cabinet, and I keep, that's pretty much first aid almost. That's games. That's various electronics. I keep a lot of extra electronics, lights, etc. In the van, because sometimes I have to make my power last longer, and it helps. You have this space up here. People refer to this as the pizza oven. I have a table up here And then just random stuff. I have a thing of electronic type things, headlamps, gloves, and hats, 2 umbrellas that I always keep, some tablecloth if I ever need it is up there. This up here is the other bed, and I'll show you that later. I'll open it up so you can see there is a vent here. Note that if you're hearing whistling in your van, stick a microfiber in that circle space and it'll stop it. It makes a little bit of a noise, but that's how everybody pretty much solves that problem. This is our panel. If the power is on, which the power is here, and this is where you turn the power on. And if you accidentally hit this off, I'd always check that first if ever you don't have power. It's real easy to hit with your hip. Some people put things on it to keep it from turning off accidentally. You can hear things beep as the power turned back on. These are the lights. If you look, I have lights on. Turn them off. The fridge just turned on. It's just your normal mini fridge. I keep a microfiber in there when I'm not using it because I keep it turned off. And I want to make sure there's no dampness. And then I keep this out right here so that it can air out. And then now you can see all the things here turned on. The clock resets if you turn it off, so you can reset it if you want to, although I never look at it, so I don't really bother. And this just tells you about the health of your battery, what its current status is, various, turn the pump on, how much propane, how much battery, how much gray tank. There's a holding tank heater that you never want to use unless you're plugged in because it drains your battery immediately. And then that turns your propane on and off. Since we're not needing any power, we're going to go ahead and just shut all that off. Back here is actually where the table stores, but I use it to hold bags. And then here you can see I have a microwave. I did not install this anywhere. If I'm going to be using it, I keep it here on the stove. I very rarely use the stove, but most of the time it's under the bed, and I only take it out if I need it. I actually use this electric skillet more than I use almost anything. It's just quick, it's easy. Even when I don't have hookups, I just plug it into one of my jackeries. I actually have 2 jackeries. And that's what I do for that. And then I showed you the fridge. The carpets came part of the National Park Foundation package, as well as the topographical map looking countertops, part of the National Park Foundation, and the graphic on the fridge. You'll notice the graphic on the fridge is actually upside down. They installed it incorrectly at the factory, and I never flipped it. I figure, well, at least mine's unique. So I've just kept it that way, but it came to me this way. And then you have your normal silverware drawer. And then I keep my bottled water and garbage under here. That's pretty much all I keep under there. This is a little table that you can pull out, and pardon the dust, still left over from last trip. I haven't gotten everything clean yet. But that comes out. And then you have the bathroom. It's just got a curtain that pins in. So you can see everything you need is in here. We cut this piece of plastic to size from Amazon. And I got a little tiny trash with little tiny bags that fit it. That powder right there is in that bag is just to go into the toilet so nothing ever smells. And we keep a broom in here as well. And then it does come with a fan. There's supposed to be a fire alarm right there. But actually, I think that one's the carbon monoxide and the other one's the smoke alarm. But instead, it's in the cabinet because it came out of the ceiling. So I haven't put that back up yet or had somebody do it. That's a smoke alarm. And then now we'll look at the bed. So you can see here that there's a ladder. This is actually a 2-handed job to get this done. So I'm going to press pause for a sec, and I'm going to undo all this so that you can see it. Okay, I have it down. I just wanted to show you how it connects. It just has a clip on each side, and you put the female to the male, and then this part hangs from these hooks right here. So I'm going to put all this together. One moment, please. Okay, so now the ladder is there. You can even keep the table there. You just have to tuck it back. So, okay, so here you undo this piece right here. You undo this. You can see if you look right here, when I turn it, it drops down, and then you just kind of flip that. Now that's open. You see it kind of magnets to the ceiling. And then same on this side. You're going to open, drop that down, magnet it to the ceiling, and then this is what was holding the ladder. You want to make sure you close these back. Now understand that my pop top in my version is different than the one that's sold today. The one sold today is a little bit different. They changed vendors. I think they used to go out of the country. Now they go in the country or something. Hold on, we gotta get this. Kind of hard to do some of these things one-handed. Okay, so you just, otherwise they fall off, and it's impossible to get them back on when it's open. So you always, when you do this, you're displacing a lot of air. So whether you're opening it or closing it, you need to have doors open, this vent open, something open, so that the air that's being displaced has somewhere to go. Either by being sucked in so it can grab it to go in, or when you're pushing it close for it to be able to go out. Trust me, this is not a good thing if you forget that. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and step up here, and I am going to press pause and push it open because it's hard to do one-handed and I don't want to fall off. So okay, all I did is just push up with both hands, and it goes right up. It hits a point maybe a little over a third of the way where it all of a sudden picks up itself, and it'll just go all the way up. You just go up the ladder, and we'll go up here, and you will see this is a huge bed. It's a full size. I have a 1.5 inch pad on this one. Then it has a little mattress, and then to keep the mold out. So that's how this is. So that goes to show, if you don't put this pad on, you could probably keep blankets up here, a blanket up here, at least one blanket, maybe even 2 thinner pillows. But there's a little bit more space in the center than there is on the edges. But I just keep this up here. I don't, just the top sheet and the sheet itself. And then there's 2 windows. This one is just like plastic. This one has a screen, and then there's another window back here, and this one. And there's a really great view, except for the zipper's closed on the other side. So we're gonna die if we try and get over there. Tall people sleep up here because it's so long. It's much longer than the bed downstairs. It's so roomy and wonderful. What do you have to be careful of? Obviously, if it's super, super windy, it's a little bit windy right now. If it's super, super windy, you wouldn't want to have this up. We did one time close this. I took this pad and I put it in the hallway here and had my daughter sleep on the floor. We had a full house at the time, so she slept there. So you can do it. And then the other thing is snow. So it can't take a bunch of weight. So what some people do, and I don't use this enough to have done it where it was ever an issue, but you can put a dowel here in the corner to kind of hold the weight up, but you don't want snow on the roof. It'll collapse it. All I have to do is grab these two handles, and I very, very carefully pull back in, and it'll come right down. So that's how you do it. And like I said, you want to make sure a door is open or something so the displaced air has somewhere to go. And so now we are going to just grab these two handles, and I'm going to pull it straight down to get it down. So I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, we managed to get down from there without killing ourselves. I actually pulled all the sheets off that bed because I wanted to wash them. So we have it closed. You'll see I have this part out. I actually use the ladder to hold this in rather than tucking it. A lot of people will tuck it, but I have had my van for 3 years, and I am so careful. Well, not 3. I mean, it'll be 3 at the end of May. I am so careful with this canvas so that it doesn't get holes. And one of those reasons is not stuffing it. So mine still looks like it did pretty much from the day I got it. I also am very careful when I pull the pop top down that I'm putting even pressure so that I don't crack from uneven pressure on the roof. I just am gentle, very gentle with it. So I have it down. I'm going to put it back together again, and then we'll pick back up. Okay, so I'm going to insert the part I did in the beginning right here. I actually started at the end because I did not want to make the bed and then undo it. So I think I said that exact same thing in that portion as well. So sorry for the duplication. But I'm going to show you now the part where I had the bed disassembled down here to show you what that looked like and all the storage that was there. This is the back with the bed up, so you can see how much storage you have to work with. I did take 2 bicycles that I did not fold down, just standing straight up, that I bungee corded, along with a bunch of other stuff on a long trip that I took that required a lot of things. I normally try not to have a lot of things, but sometimes it's unavoidable based on where you're going. Hello, little bee friend. We have a bee friend here. It's coming to say hi. This is the water, and if you can see, it gives you a little diagram on how to turn all the knobs based on what you're doing. So it is currently right now set to dry camping, although the water is empty, as I in my last video emptied out the water. So when I go to fill it, I'll set it to power fill. So, and that is, we'll put all the water directly into the tank. If you wanted to hook to city water, which I don't really recommend for any length of time in this, since unless you modify it, there's no way to have a hose go out of the camper. But it's there if you need it. There's a winterizing feature and a sanitizing feature. That's also a useful way to get water into the tank if you have to do it out of a bucket. Thankfully, I've not really had to do that. So, and then we have storage here. This is one of the best parts of the National Park Foundation version. All the Solises have this, where you lift it up, and there's storage inside. But the National Park Foundation has these nifty drawers. So you go up, and you can pull them out this way, and that means when you have this all covered in storage here, you can still get to the stuff in the drawers. And this one, hold on a moment, this one opens all the way up, and you have kind of a table here, and they're made to hold a lot of weight. I think I saw someone stand on it once, but they do hold on a lot of weight. And the table goes up. Hold on again. And the table goes up like this. And the idea is here, you see this little knob here. I have somewhere in here, don't know where, let's see, right there. I have this little thing, and you plug it in here, and you can have water to wash your dishes outside. I have used it that way, actually, when I was camping with quite a few people, and we had quite a few dishes. We did them outside to keep the water from all over the place inside. As you can see, all the water, various hoses that I have for fresh water are located in there. In this drawer was various things that I have for the electric and some attachments that I keep if I need them for the sewer. But I do not keep a sewer hose in here. On this side, I just have some random stuff. This is a curtain that actually goes here. These come off right here. You can see it better on this side. I'm at the storage right now. So this storage is located fairly close to my home, and I've had to keep it because I have not been able to park the van at my house. So I do keep it at a storage. And once I leave, then obviously I can cancel that. Here's a bag that it came with, and I just keep random bungees, locks, a little diatomaceous earth in case there's a bunch of ants. If you know, you know. It's very useful. I found out about it actually from parking at a place, camping at a place here in California called Crystal Cove. That's all they allowed you to use because they have huge giant ant problem. So I'm going to pause again to put this back away, but hold on just a moment. Okay, now we're back, and we have, I'm going to zoom out a little so it's a little easier. It's a little narrow space here. I have storage here. I keep a couple of old Pico chairs in there, all the tools in there. I currently have the blocks in there, but I actually don't typically travel with them in there because it's too hard to get to most of the time. But you can see there's lots and lots of storage. And then there's a little tiny drawer here where I just keep a bunch of random things because it's not easy to get to with the bed down, and I almost always have the bed down. So I just keep a couple random things in there. This is your fuse box. There you go. Took me a second to open because I don't normally open it. But it just takes normal fuses. And then it has your permanent fuses there. And I have had to change out before. But usually, here's a tip. If all of a sudden you don't have power and nothing's running and everything's turned off, go check your main power switch and see if somebody didn't hip bump it while they're putting in groceries, because that's happened to just about all of us. I'm going to close that up. Then there's a little tiny drawer here, and I keep DVDs in there and some TV stuff. And I did install a TV in here. It's one of the only mods that we did. And then we do have these two cubbies that I ram full of stuff. So there's two little heated throws, two little blankets in case you need them to sit outside or inside, whatever. I actually have pots and pans back here. It's hard to see back there, but you can sort of see. I have pots and pans. I very rarely cook anymore inside the van. I mostly use a microwave or an electric skillet, or occasionally a Blackstone outside the van. I use that specifically when I'm going to a meetup where I have a potluck because I can cook a lot at the same time. Under here, I just have some of my paper towels, and then I have hiking sticks and like seat pads that you sit on, and a little mini chair that's a little 1 pound Helinox, I think it's called. 1 pound chair, so it's very, very light. I have two just generic sticks, hiking sticks and poles, and then I have one lightweight. I am not an athletic person, so I try and keep everything that I do lightweight. All right, and then up here we have this area. I typically put clothes over here, and then that's just various towels, washcloths, microfibers, hand towels, bath towels, you name it, it's all there. And then over here, I need to, but it's similar, but it's shallow. And I would need to undo this to get to it. But you can see I've got random contact lens stuff and some remotes and various stuff in there. But then I keep clothes here as well. And I use packing cubes for that. That keeps it all kind of contained. That's how I found is the best for me. But we're going to lock this back up again. And one more we have that we can get to from back here with the bed up. This is where I keep my coffee maker. I have two versions. I have the Keurig version, and then I have an actual 5-pot coffee maker. I like them both for various reasons, and I take one or the other depending on what I'm doing and who's going. But I did end up finally getting a mini Keurig just for ease of use for quick going to see my daughter or whatever. And then here is the TV. I think I'll go over that once I put the bed down because it's easier then. Okay, and then you can see under, this is kind of like the mattress they use. And then they put these slats, kind of like IKEA. I don't know if anybody's had any IKEA stuff, but that's how it is. It's really nice because it keeps a lot of airflow under there. Because anytime you're in a camper, you have to worry about mildew. And while I don't have to worry about that as much as some, since I'm on the West Coast, the East Coast apparently has a real big problem with it. And then all of my windows have these nifty covers. They're just magnets, but you can unzip them if you want to look at them. They're decorated a little bit different because of the national park version. This one's the same, but I'll show you the ones in the front later. They have like little palm trees and stuff on them. And then I just wanted to show you there's an actual screen back here, and it zips down from the top to the bottom. It's probably one of my least favorite parts of the van, other than the fact that it's there. That's great. But I think someday, if I'm ever on the East Coast, I might go and look into a bug wall. Mostly just because this one's hard to handle and it's always down and away. So while I can tuck it how I did, I usually tuck it in here. You see, it's always hooked up. There's no way to actually take it down. So even when you're laying here trying to look outside, you never really have a clear view. You always have kind of a partial view with the screen. And I put the other side in here because you do not want anything stuck in the door when you close it. And then this side over here is where we put our spare tire. I got an exact match tire and rim. In this case, I did get a flat tire, and I had to purchase a KO3 because the KO2s have been discontinued. So my spare went on this tire, which went flat. We had a huge giant bolt while we were kind of in the middle of the nowhere on the way to Grand Canyon from New Mexico. And thankfully I was not alone at the time, because that would have been very hard to get this tire off. If I was alone, I would have had to have called for service. I have everything to change the tire. The jack it came with, believe it or not, works. I know it looks kind of rinky-dinky if you ever see it, but it does work. We put it on a couple of blocks and we're able to get I have a breaker bar that actually fits the lug nuts for this. This is a landed gear mount, and they use a different size than the lug nuts that are on the actual tire to get this off. And then I have the little key thing to keep it locked on here. And then if you look over here, I have, this is where the cassette toilet access is. This is the power right here. I don't know if hold on just a second, I'll try and open it. That's where the cassette area is. I keep a small tiny hose in there, and I'll actually do a video on how to deal with that, especially as an older woman, if you want to call my 54 or older. I feel older. There's the gray tank access to dump the gray tank, and my gray tank does have heater pads on it in case it's cold, but you can only use those if you're plugged in, otherwise you'll run your battery down in just minutes. And then you'll see that the graphics on my van are because it's a National Park Foundation version, and then you can see there, National Park Foundation. Okay, I don't normally use things that are labeled by something, but I did buy this van at National Indoor RV Center, and they happened to give away this carpet, which of course they don't know that it fit perfectly underneath the Solis, but guess what, it did. And we absolutely love it because it keeps the bottom from getting all tore up when you're dragging things in and out. So obviously I suggest covering this if you can. In our case, we can do that because I have access to those drawers outside, and that's why I can use a rug here. If you were utilizing those cubbies area, storage area, and did not have those drawers, you would not want to cover it because you need to be able to access it. And obviously, if I want to do the little one, I just lift this up. Okay, so the bed comes down. And I'm going to have to go over there and fix that screen. And then this goes here. And that's the bed. All right, fast forward to the screen being moved out of the way. You can see we have those screen covers. This is just to hold stuff in the cabinet. And there you go. And then we installed this television. You can kind of see it's just through the thing. And it is a 12 volt, so it'll run even if I have no power hookups. And it does have a DVD in it as well. So I can run that 12 volt either off the van itself, or if I'm trying to conserve energy, I can run it off of a Jackery, which is a portable power bank. Now in my case, this bed is not comfortable. So we put a pad on it. One moment while I go put the pad on. Okay, we put the pad on. Sorry if I'm out of breath. I zoomed out a little so you could kind of see. So this is actually a 3-inch memory foam pad. I've had it for a long time. It was in a trailer on a king size bed prior to the van. We cut it down, and I'll show you where I put the piece we cut off in a little bit, because it actually ended up being very useful. So that's how it is. I'm gonna press pause again and make the bed. So just so you know, this goes better when there's 2 people, but I'm only 1 person and I can do it myself. I just get a lot of breath because, once again, I'm not an athletic person. I do walk a lot so that I can do my hikes. I do everything I want to do anyway, but I get out of breath. Okay, here's the bed. I am zoomed out, so the dimensions look a little wonky. I currently have a sand cloud blanket on here, Stitch, obviously. Yes, I'm from Orange County, California, and I am a Disney adult. We have been going with annual passes for almost 30 years. So, and I even have a child that works there. But so that's Stitch. And these are actually really comfortable, lightweight. For those of you my age, I sleep hot. So I tend to like lighter covers. I have a Pendleton blanket as well from Yellowstone. If I put it out, that's actually a geyser. I think there's a bear on there too somewhere. But I keep this just in case it's a little too cold. Otherwise, I use a winter down blanket. I can just throw it over this whole Stitch thing as well if I know I'm going somewhere where it's going to be cold. But it shouldn't be too cold on this trip that I'm going on with my daughter. I'm actually filming this tour backwards. I did the bed area undone first because I did not want to make the bed and then undo the bed, and I want it ready for the trip. So in order to maximize that, we filmed this part first. And then the other thing I wanted to show real quick before we start from the beginning and do the tour that way is this is the pad right here. I just have two pillowcases on it, one on each side to keep that covered. Then I cover the whole thing with, I don't know if you know, but I kind of am going this bluey, tealy, oceany color theme here. So I have that there. These seats are incredibly uncomfortable, and the pad makes the hugest of difference to sit on them, whether it's just to eat, which I actually love this table and chairs, even if I didn't ever transport anybody else. And I don't very often have anybody back here, but when you do, you do. Oh, and as a side note, there's one of the palm trees on the shade. So I'm going to stop it here, and then we'll start from the beginning. Okay, so now I think I've shown you just about everything. I'm not sure if I showed you. I just keep toothbrushes and soaps and everything here. Swedish dishcloths are back there. This is I need to redo it. I just shoved everything in there so that it was out of the way. Where I keep all the dishes that I have. I just have random things in there. So that's pretty much my tour. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I felt like I was getting a little like I was instructing a class, so hopefully I didn't sound too lectury. But I love this van, and I chose it because cost, the features of the national park version. It's got the chunkier tires and already has those sumo springs put in, and the decor, and the drawers that pull out. The drawers that pull out are just like the most amazing thing ever. So we love those. All of us love those so much. We've even used, at various trips that we've done, to sit, go out there and just like eat standing up, because you don't want to sit after you've been driving for a long time. Obviously, the only thing I use it for is the power when I'm traveling alone. A lot of the features that I might use when I'm have people, I don't use when I'm alone. So I keep it very simplistic and easy, quick and easy. I'm kind of a fast traveler. I move constantly, spot to spot, place to place. I'm out touring during the day. I don't go travel to sit typically. But I'm hoping now, actually, it's one of the things, because I remember one time when I was in Yellowstone, there was this really beautiful spot randomly that we stopped at. It was just so beautiful. And I thought at the time, what I wouldn't get to just grab my chair and sit there and read. I just would have given anything if I could have just spent a whole day just sitting there reading. And I'm hoping now that I have time, we'll have time. I had a bunch of stuff scheduled already when I did quit that was already scheduled. So I'm doing those things before I can go off on any long adventures, because I already had some trips scheduled. So I have the Anza Borrego trip that I'm doing soon, and that'll be my next video. And then I have a Winnebago Solis meetup that's in, I think it's Point Magoo State Park. And I have that coming up. There's a California Winnebago Solis group, and we meet twice a year. And then I have a trip where I'm actually flying to Virginia, and I'll be staying in a cabin that's included with my camping membership. I get one a year. I have 7 left, so after this one, it'll be 6 left, once a year, where I get that cabin, a whole week in that cabin for $100 cleaning fee. So it's amazing. That right there paid for my membership, just having that. So that's already done and paid for, so I don't have to worry about budgeting that. That was already scheduled quite a long time ago. So once that's done, I will be free to take off and go. So that's in the first part of April. I also might throw a trip somewhere between now and then into Las Vegas. I have 2 sisters that live there, and I try and see them before it gets too hot. And that's what we're doing. So thank you so much. And if you want to listen to my trauma dump of my first video, go and listen to that. Otherwise, if you would like and subscribe and all that wonderful stuff, I'll be posting regularly and going on many, many adventures, and I'd love to bring you along. So thank you.